What do you do if your ideas conflict with reality? If you're a sensible, rational creature, you rethink your ideas. If you're a progressive, you rethink reality. You deconstruct it. If any progressive pseudo-intellectuals want to send abusive comments, save your breath to cool your porridge, I'll ignore you. But hey, that's okay, because deconstruction is ultimately about power and silencing people who disagree with you. You can explain deconstruction either by one simple explanation or 296 exceedingly complex ones. So let's go for simple. Deconstruction does what it says in the tin. It deconstructs. It breaks down statements to reveal their underlying impulses. Initially a tool of literary criticism, deconstruction centres on the idea that there is no truth, merely social constructs, choices about what we believe. Statements only exist in relation to and opposition to other statements. Male implies female, good implies bad, etc. And we choose what we believe. And our choice is invariably dominant. And the goal of deconstruction is to expose and overthrow those dominant concepts. Deconstructionists propose that those doing the dominating actually desire power and want to subordinate or even fear the other. This is why we Neanderthal Christians who say homosexual behaviour is sinful are called homophobic. Forget biblical fidelity. It's really about our lust for power and our fear of homosexuals. We may not acknowledge it, but fear and loathing lie behind our principled position. Therefore, we're mentally damaged and should be silenced before we cause harm. Perhaps you're beginning to see the attraction of deconstruction for progressives. It gives them power. Individuals create their own reality. A writer's intention is immaterial. Who cares what Shakespeare intended? Macbeth can be a man portraying a powerful woman as controlling, manipulative, evil, and thus maintaining the actual domination and control of men over women. Or some such codswallop. And codswallop it is. Deconstruction even critiques the hard sciences. Belgian philosopher Luce Irigaray argues that science is sexist. E=mc² is a sexed equation. Why? Because it privileges the speed of light over other vitally necessary speeds. Irigaray also thinks that fluid mechanics are unfairly neglected because masculine physics privileges rigid, solid things. In 1996, Alan Sokal, professor of physics at New York University, submitted a paper to Social Text Journal deconstructing gravity. He later admitted the paper was a hoax, submitted to see whether a leading journal would publish an article larded with utter nonsense if it sounded good and pandered to the editor's postmodern deconstructionist ideology. And of course they would. Who knows, perhaps gravity really is a tool of powerful white males determined to impose their viewpoint on creation. What began as a tool of literary criticism has quickly become a tool of cultural revolution, hugely attractive to progressives. Deconstruction teaches that there is no such thing as absolute truth, only our interpretation. What we think of truth is actually a social construct. How we choose to think, that's male and female, are social categories, empowering one group over another. Everything is much more fluid, leading to Facebook's 56 genders. Deconstruction is also a powerful basis for multiculturalism. One culture may respect women and accord them the same rights and privileges as men. Another culture may keep women subjugated, impose unwanted marriages, practice female genital mutilation and deny them an education. But to say that one culture is intrinsically better than the other is wrong. That would be a power play. David Cameron proposed spending £20 million to teach Muslim women English. If a woman living in Britain cannot speak English, she's at a severe disadvantage. And the situation should be remedied. Who, after all, can be against education? In an example of doublethink, Worthy of George Orwell's 1984 Up Stepped the Guardian. Madeline Bunting wrote an article arguing that this was not about helping women integrate into British society. It was about dreams of empire and white man rescuing brown woman, in which desire for domination could be masked as a virtuous duty. Thus, the ultra-progressive, self-proclaimed voice of liberalism could approvingly publish an article containing a statement like, "In Muslim homes I visited, it was clear that the women were extremely busy cooking and caring for many family members." Clearly, for progressives, keeping women in the kitchen serving the family is vile, even Nazi-like, if proposed by a European male, but when practiced by Muslims, is commendable. Ain't deconstruction wonderful? You actually can have your cake and eat it. Deconstruction does not relate to reality. It subverts it. It's a philosophical tool used to further a profound cultural revolution. The philosophy which exposes power plays is in actual fact a tool of the greatest power play.